Well, things are getting a little hairy with regards to John Brooks, and I unfortunately went down the rabbit hole and had a relatively unpleasant experience on Twitter, which is fine. I got thick skin. I'm used to it. I'm used to people getting back at me saying I don't know anything, this, that, and the other. No, I'm right about most of these things. That's okay. It's Twitter. And there was a story going out that John Brooks was signing with a team in Saudi Arabia, which means big, big bucks. And then it all made sense. It all made sense. John Brooks, with the World Cup out of reach, not going to happen, is focusing on his last big contract. That's what everyone said. He's looking at his last big contract, and he's going to end up making some money in Saudi Arabia and then calling it a career. Nothing wrong with that. I would do the same thing if I was him. So it made sense, and then we hear this story is fake, which made me think of all the things to make a fake story about on Twitter. John Brooks signing for a Saudi Arabian club seems so random. I mean, why not say that Lionel Messi is going to play at Cruz Azul, or the World Cup is expanding to 64 teams and they're going to do it every 2 years. Officially. John Brooks is going to Saudi Arabia. So, sorry about that. I got the monitor. I'm too close. So it was a fake story. So clearly, I followed up on some of this, and you can see how far gone this John Brooks thing is. And we're going to break it down here on the Soccer OG. Check out the Soccer OG podcast right there, my MLS days. And we'll have another podcast coming out this week where we'll talk a lot about this American abroad, and as well as John Brooks and many other things. Check out the Soccer G podcast where all podcasts are available, and like and subscribe our video here. Let's go. Come on, YouTube, get that algorithm going. So there is this weird conspiracy, man. You know, when Greg Berhalter would talk about John Brooks. Oh, by the way, coming up in a little bit, I'm going to have my top 5 Americans in Europe list. I'm doing it every week. See if you agree. It's a fun list, so we'll get to that. So there is a belief that the world is out to get John Brooks. And we don't know the information, right? We're not privy to that information. What we do know as American soccer fans is that Greg Berhalter is not bringing him into these camps, which makes you scratch your head because they just lost a key defender in Miles Robinson. And the center back group is getting a bit thin. And people don't like Aaron Long. And Aaron Long, I like Aaron Long a lot. Is he an elite defender like a Chris Richards is perhaps going to be, or the way Miles Robinson? No. And he's got some injuries. And bringing him back into the U.S. camp after a severe injury, it's not the most normal path, right? So it was weird that John Brooks, who scored a goal in the World Cup in 2014, still under the age of 30, still playing 31 games, I believe, with Wolfsburg last season, playing Champions League. This is the resume and credentials of a superb defender. And it doesn't make sense because the U.S. don't have that great tier of defenders, at why John Brooks wouldn't go there and be a featured player, let alone make a roster of this World Cup team. So Greg Berhalter kept pushing. We couldn't get it. It was frustrating. We'd like to know information, but as I can tell you, these coaches and federations don't just give that information out anywhere. It's not just exclusive to the United States. So, yeah, we'd like transparency. We don't get it. So we continue down on this path to see why he's doing so well at Wolfsburg and is playing in the Champions League, and Greg Berhalter won't call him up. There's something there. So that was one thing. But we could focus on Greg Berhalter and say he's crazy. How could he not do so, John Brooks? Maybe it's this weird thing for a coach. It's not his preference. He can't play the Greg Berhalter system effectively. Greg Berhalter was a little bit more upfront in recent weeks when he did that media tour and said he's looking at him to see if he can do these things. So everything we heard tells you, unless there's an injury issue, he's not coming to the national team. So his contract runs out at Wolfsburg, and he's not renewed. That's fine. Maybe he wants another challenge. Maybe he wants to play in a different league. The season starts in Europe, and still John Brooks has not have a club. So the story is out that John Brooks was going to be re-upped by Wolfsburg. Great. Great. Now, he made good money on that last contract. So from what I read, and again, we don't know what's going on here. There was a contract, but what John Brooks said about his meetings with Wolfsburg is, we had an honest conversation about the future. Honest conversation about the future. Let's break that down. What does that tell you? To me, and I feel I'm pretty right about this, it means that Wolfsburg said, yes, we would like to bring you back. We're not going to pay you what we paid you. We're not going to probably feature you. You're going to have to battle for playing time, but we'd like to have you in a different capacity. It's not, if it was a different quote, yeah, I would have liked to have gone. I want a new challenge. Maybe the money wasn't right. Honest conversation tells you, Wolfsburg, we're going to diminish John Brooks. So there is kind of a strike two there. Kind of a strike two. And yet everyone's going, this is, they're keeping John Brooks down. And I don't want to pick on John Brooks. I think John Brooks is a great defender, but there's something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of smoke with Greg Berhalter, Wolfsburg. Strike three. No other club has come up to sign him. The European season's now 2 weeks, in some cases 3 weeks deep. And that's fine. There's a lot of big players that aren't signed yet. So Wolfsburg doesn't really want him under those circumstances. Greg Berhalter doesn't really want him, and other clubs don't want him for whatever reason. Maybe the money's not right, and I am 100% clear that might be the case. There was a report that Fulham wanted, but he was going to be part of a battery of defenders where he could fill in, back up maybe Tim Ream, but he wasn't going to come in and be a starter. John Brooks something's happened in the John Brooks career, and it's left us scratching our heads. I don't know all the answers. You don't know all the answers, but I'm reading the cues. I am reading the clues, and it tells me that there is something that we have to look at face value and say, this is not a huge conspiracy against John Brooks. This is on John Brooks. Okay, read the room. Read the room. I'm not going to go through these Twitter wars anymore, and I hope John Brooks can fix it. But there is something. It's big. It's big. I hope he lands on a thing. But he's not going to Saudi Arabia, so don't tell me he's trying to get that last big contract. It seems like there's not many options out there. Top 5 Europeans in Europe, week 2. Last week, it was Brendan Aronson, number 1. Why not? Scoring a goal, even was a known goal, to give Leeds United a victory in week 1. Now, week 2, pretty slim pickings. It was actually pretty rough. And I'm recording this on a Sunday, so I'm not going to see if Chris Richards plays for Crystal Palace or Weston McKennie, we're being told, is going to play for Juventus against Sassuolo. So they're not going to make this list. But hopefully, I imagine Weston McKennie plays a small part, and maybe Chris Richards doesn't play at all yet. But I think he will soon for Palace. So there was also some concern. Luca de la Torre didn't get off the bench for Celta Vigo. And that wasn't a really great Celta team, I got to say, so that's discouraging. Serginho Dest, no, at Barcelona. Christian Pulisic, 5 minutes at Chelsea in one of the really incredible games you'll see because of the managers. The English Premier League is so compelling on a variety of reasons, but the managers are certainly at the top of the list. Whether it's Tuchel or Conte or Klopp or Pep, very, very interesting stuff on the sideline. We saw it there. Christian Pulisic is rolling down the pecking order. Almost Conor Gallagher is moving up on his back wheel. So we have some things that need to be resolved here. And Christian Pulisic is at the top of that list. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Jordan Pefok was okay. Didn't score. Doesn't make the list. He made the list last week. And Richie Ledesma injured in the first half for PSV. Really nasty tackle. Really nasty tackle. I forgot the opponent. Was it Go Ahead Eagles? But it's just heartbreaking to see that. Get out of here with that nonsense. But it wasn't good. Brendan Aronson and Tyler Adams, and in particular, Jesse Marsch lost Leeds United this game over the weekend. I'm not going to have any debate. And look, you know me. I'll take a bullet for Jesse, and I'll defend him. That's all I do on this. But that was not good this week from him with regards to how this team played. They were up 2 goals, didn't make the adjustments. Hasenhüttl made the adjustments for Southampton. So the Leeds United players aren't going to get here. So all in all, Ricardo Pepi, some guys played okay, didn't make the list. Zach Steffen had a couple nice saves for Middlesbrough. I think that's a good development. Oh, by the way, Gio Reyna didn't get on the 18. Tim Weah, we don't know what's happening with him. Didn't play for Lille again. So a lot, these are all the guys that we would classify as starters or core players for the World Cup, but they're not really in there. So the list gets trimmed down a bit. So let's get to it. Joe Scally, very good, didn't make the list. Let's go. Number 5. Haji Wright scored a goal and Malik Tillman scored a goal that were essentially game winners for their team. I didn't have room for both of them. So I'm going with Malik Tillman at 5 because for the second straight week, he jumps out of a gym to head a ball in. He is a true Skywalker. Rangers played St. Johnstone, not a great team. SPL is a rung below Major League Soccer. Don't at me. Especially when you're playing teams like St. Johnstone. But his athleticism is popping off the screen, and he's doing it in back-to-back weeks. So Malik Tillman makes the list at number 5. Very exciting for him. Haji Wright almost made it because it was a game-winning goal for Antalyaspor. It's just the list is slim pickings, but not that slim. Number 4, Yunus Musah. Saw a bit of the game, and I saw the highlights. Didn't really do much. Wasn't worthy, game-wise, for what he did. But Valencia, successful. But what Yunus Musah did do is he played 90 minutes. And clearly, this game reflects the fact that Yunus Musah, who played as part of a group of midfielders, normally coming off the bench, Week 1 is important. Week 1, that's why I'm so nervous about Christian Pulisic, because he had a good preseason and he's played next to nothing. Not a good sign. Yunus Musah had a good preseason, comes out the first game, plays 90 minutes. He is a featured player now for Valencia for the time being. Great news. He's going to log a lot of minutes. He'll have better games like this. He'll have games which will get him into the top 5. But because it was the 90 minutes in Valencia's season opener, he makes the list. Yunus Musah at number 4. Number 3, and a lot of people were very convincing that I spoke to that he should be number 1. And God bless Fulham, right? Anthony Jedi Robinson. More so for what he did defensively. Fulham, they've had a great start to the season. They're not giving up goals. They got a little testy with Liverpool, but they're not giving up goals here. And Anthony Robinson's a big part. So the Fulham story has been the most exciting, most unexpected in some cases for the American player's perspective. We know Anthony Robinson's going to be our left back. Defensively, he's locked down. We know he likes to get forward with the U.S. men's national team. I want to see a little bit more of the crossing. But he's been great for Fulham. They're off to a tremendous start in the Premier League. Number 2, this one I did not expect to put in here. Sam Vines of Royal Antwerp. We're going to the Belgian league again. Not the elite league like we see with Yunus Musah or Pulisic or Anthony Robinson. But Sam Vines has played 90 minutes in the first 4 games for Royal Antwerp. He is untouchable for his manager. They don't take him off. They're playing in Europa Conference League action, so he's getting a taste of European football as well. And he is playing for a team that is 4 for 4, first place in Belgium, 3 points clear. And that means Champions League football for Sam Vines next season. Obviously, it's very early days. But Royal Antwerp has a lot of talent. Sam Vines is a player that you can't take out of the starting 11. We need help at that position, right? We have Serginho Dest. We have Anthony Robinson, but who's going to be his cover? Sam Vines. So big development there. Sam Vines of Royal Antwerp coming in number 2. I don't think I'll have too many players on the Belgian league. I hope we have the heavy hitters on this list moving forward, but so be it. We're going to Belgium. Number 1, a guy who was in the top 5 last week. I believe he was number 2. He moves up to number 1. He's been consistent. I just can't believe it. Tim Ream. Tim Ream. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Old man Tim Ream. I've watched both Fulham games, and I have been blown away with his leadership, his positioning, his anticipation. He's done everything. He looks like our best center back, hands down. Hands down. By the way, Walker Zimmerman not playing great. Aaron Long not playing great. Tim Ream could get back into the mix here. And you know what I like about it? He plays alongside Anthony Robinson. You can't tell me that having two guys that play together on club would be bad doing it for the national team. There's familiarity. It works. Tim Ream has been our best player in Europe in these first 2 weeks. Read him and weep. It is absolute tabernacle. Tim Ream, watch the games. Watch this guy. He is heroic. He looks like one of the best defenders anywhere. He makes every right movement. He knows where he gets to the byline. He'll make to he's mobile. He looks like he's 18. It's unbelievable. Tim Ream, ahead of John Brooks. No conspiracy theory with Tim Ream. He doesn't want to get on the national team, but the way he's playing, he just might. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. It's been that remarkable. The Soccer OG come in every week. We're going to talk about the top fives, unless you don't want to see it. Top 5 Americans playing in Europe. And let's let John Brooks figure things out. Let's let him out. Let's give it. Rate, review, and subscribe.